Hey guys, how are you all? This is me, Vicky Beyond Astro K. Welcome to another video. And today, guys, I'm bringing you a special one, a big one, because we're going to see this happening in 2025, but it's going to stay in 2026. And that is a Saturn Neptune conjunction in Aries. This one is going to be at 0 degrees in Aries. And what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be breaking down what Saturn is for Aries and Saturn and Neptune is for Aries. Then I'll also, in another video, I'll be talking how this conjunction will affect all the signs. This is the big one. This is one of the major ones of this decade. If you hear some clicking, guys, I am looking back on my computer in the research that I have done. So I apologize if it does annoy you or disturb you. So, guys, this great conjunction, the last one was like 36 years ago, and it was in 1989, the 3rd of March. This one's like very historical, guys. So, it was in 1989, the 3rd of March, and it was in, obviously I'm in London, so I'll talk London. So it was 1989, the 3rd of March. It aspect 3 times June the 24th and November the 13th, but it was, the 3rd of March. And Saturn is very much it's ruled by Capricorn. Neptune is ruled by Pisces. So, Saturn's very much, it's very old school. It's very much to do with, on the shadow side, it is about hardships. It is about, hard working. It's very much, like this, oh, how can I forget? What's his name? It will come to me. It's very much like Victorian, like when you watch like Victorian themes about the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer. It's very Saturnian. Yeah, it's very like Hard Knocks. It's very karmatic as well. It's also to do with losses, it's hardship, it's environmental, it's about security, it's poverty as well. It's not I think if you got like Saturn, if you like heavily Saturn based in your chart, that there's a lot of lessons that you do have to learn. There's a lot of themes that you have to overcome. And obviously, if you do overcome them, you get benefits. But still, with that comes a lot of burden on your shoulder. With Neptune, it's very much to do with vision. It's very visionary, very it's daydream, it's visionary, it's like the future, it's idealism as well. It's not as harsh as Saturn, but it's still like, things don't are, it's very like illusion based. Things are not very real when it comes to when you have a lot of Neptune in your chart. Obviously, on the higher vibration, it's very creative. It's very much about, like the movies. It's the artist. It's the writer. It's not about fighting. It's very much, let's create this like vision. When you get those two together, it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy. But if we go back to 1989, when this actually started, this is like a 36-year cycle, guys, and the cycle does end in February the 20th. Again, when this happened, it was in Pisces, guys, and when it ended, it's going to be in Pisces, but it's going to restart in Pisces. So, and the deacon of this was the Cancer deacon of Pisces. So I think I'll say that we saw the themes, which is to do with like home, lineage, the past, very emotional, very sensitive. What it's also about my thing. It's also because this deacon of Pisces, it's very, like I said, it's very sensitive, but it's very much about because Cancer is a sign that is to do with like race as well and what you're used to. So I feel that in 1989, that was like the big theme as well. I will talk about the chart of that as well, guys. So yeah, it's very much a Cancerian. So themes that started from 1989 till now is in 1989 we did see like the one of the major things was that world leaders were born, because it was like 19, actually let's go back, guys. In 1952, the last one before 89 was, we had one in Libra, and Putin was born, guys. He was one of like the world leaders that was born at the time in 1952. And we also saw like a epidemic, the polio epidemic, and there was a big smog in London as well. So, yeah, it was that. And before that was 1917, and it was in Gemini. And what we saw was that was like the Russian Revolution and America entry into World War One. That was in 1917. But then 1952, we had the polio thing. Obviously, with also there was a lot when it comes to like smog. That also it's about chemicals, and it does pollute the air. And if any of you who have experienced like smog, and that that it's not the lick, it's not healthy, basically. Yeah. So, but in 1989, we had the big thing then was, there was a lot of things that were going on, like in Iran. There was like lots of protests in February. There was like Muslim protests that were happening. And also like Salman Rushdie, he was being very much protected by the British government. There was a lot of also, where else? There was a big thing. It was a massive thing, actually, guys. There was in Sheffield. There was 96 fans were killed as in a football game that is still going on. Yeah, it's actually still going on. There was stuff that was in June. There was stuff that was happening in China, Beijing as well. But one of the major themes also was happening. The Dalai Lama, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. But also Tibet was struggling with independence. The two major things that stick out, and I definitely remember them, the Berlin Wall. In the Berlin Wall, it actually, those of you who don't know, it was like divided. It actually crumbled in November the 9th, 1989. And the wall actually went up in 1961. And it was supposed to last like years, it was meant to last like over 50 years. But when you have like this major conjunction like Saturn and Neptune, it's like, nope, because Neptune's very much about dissolvement. So it did collapse, and it was major. I remember seeing it on the news, guys. It was like, then I was thinking, what the hell's going on? But yeah, when that wall came down, it was so historical. It was so, yeah. People were. I remember people crying. People were rejoicing. People. You saw people like kicking the wall with their hands and their feet, and you could see like the determination in the Germans, East and West Germans, and yeah, it was massive. And the fact that it happened in that time was more or less like supposed to happen, and they were saying that there was like the time the president was Ronald Reagan, and they said that he like helped, that not just him, was like Mikhail Gorbachev as well, Pope John as well. Like all these like world leaders, they actually help bring the wall down. Another massive theme that happened here as well, guys, was in South Africa. You had W.F. de Klerk, bear with me, and Nelson Mandela. They came together, and this, they came together, had like a discussion, and it did lead to apartheid, basically, bringing down the apartheid. There was also free elections that happened here too. And in 1994, which when Saturn was in Pisces, guys, Nelson Mandela was elected president, so that also helped, black and white. It helped the country sort of like be a bit united, but it was, again, this was historical. Nelson Mandela actually got a Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. And another thing, obviously, that was great, and I remember when it actually happened, when The Simpsons, the TV series that's still being played now, it actually came on. It was the first episode started in December 1989, and it did change things, especially with cartoons, because it's still going on now, guys. And one thing about The Simpsons, that they were saying that it did change the face, because it's all different generations, like it generations all came together to watch it with your grandparents, great grandparents, your cousins, even my children as well. They watch it and it's hilarious. It is funny. I always wondered why Maggie has never grown up, but yeah, it changed things. That cartoon, it changed things for other cartoons that came after it as well. Yeah, so that's like some of the historical things that happened there. Obviously, there's other stuff that did happen, guys, in other countries. It's not just about England, not just about America. There's other historical things that did happen. You could even Google it. Things that happened in Pakistan, things that happened in Switzerland, things that happened, but these are like the main historical that some people actually will remember. Yeah, so I do urge some of you guys to like Google some historical stuff that happened in other countries and not just think about our own countries. So yeah, that was the major theme of those two. Yes, so when we look at the chart, guys, of the 1989, yeah, I'm not going to go too deep. Things that have come out for me. Well, when we talk about like the sun, moon, stars, and all that, the planets, we had the sun, like I said, was in Pisces at 12 degrees. The moon was in Capricorn. Yeah. So from what it's shown me is that the sun being in Pisces, it was in the 10th house. And 10th house is very much Capricorn house. It's about, honor and glory, you're being shown as well. It showed me that it was very a time in 1989 till now, guys, I'm talking 36 years. For me, it showed that, people, this is very much about status. Okay. And, even though I was very young when this happened, and even going to my teenage years, even going into that the noughties and the 90s, you could see that status was a big thing. And I'll also tell you why. So a lot of the sun being in Pisces, the moon's in Capricorn, we had Saturn in Capricorn, we had Uranus in Capricorn, we also had Neptune in Capricorn, and they were all in the 7th house. The 7th house is a Libra house, and the Libra house is very much about business, contracts. It's artistic as well, but it's a cardinal house. Okay, so we are, from 89 till now, it was very much about that. The other side to Libra, the general side, is that it's very much about aesthetics. It's also about looks. And it's also about, sort of like who, hanging out with like the right type of people. And the fact that a lot of stelliums were in the 7th house, it made sense. The other side to this is I'm seeing is that it showed that all of us in our own way wanted wanted to be around people that had certain things going for them. The fact that it had lots of stelliums in cardinal seventh house. So it was about, what type of job. You notice that people are keep asking, what type of job have you got? How much money you earning? Where you live? Your fashion, your clothes. Very much about that. Yeah, from 89 till now. What else happened with this last conjunction? We also had stelliums in Pisces, which was the sun. We also had the North Node. Funny enough, guys, the North Node is there again. So we had the sun. Also had Venus. Funny enough, that's happening. Sun, Venus, and the North Node all in the, where is it? Yeah, so the sun is in the 10th, so is Venus, also the North Node. So a lot of like Capricornian, Libra, that was happening, even though there's stelliums in Capricorn, there's stelliums also in Pisces. So it's like what I said, guys, very, this conjunction was very much about status, and that even if you look back on the chart, guys, you could see, there were, for me, it feels like 36 years till now, that if you had certain things if you were not on it, okay, things could not pop off for you if you were rebellious, okay, if you wanted like the law, if you like went basically, if you went against the law, if you went against the grain, things will not work for you. You had to go with the grain. So you're probably thinking, why? What do you mean? So I'll say that, I personally feel, and it's still happening, but it will end, that, certain, there's this theme and element of like being around the right people. Yeah. This chart is also showing me that it's not about being at the right time. It was mostly just being about the right people, looking and dressing a certain way, being with people that were higher ups, marrying up. This chart also definitely suggests a lot of racism, prejudice as well. It was not about poor people. It was not about people that were struggling. It was about people that, not people, yeah, you can say people, but it suggested to me that themes of, if you were willing to change a whole part of yourself, whether it could be through surgery, it could also be color, but it could also be like, if you're willing to change a part of yourself in order to get where you need to get to, you can make it. Yes, this chart does suggest, hard work, but it also does suggest that you had to change a lot about yourself. And 1989 is a very long time ago, guys. We're talking late 80s till 2026. So that this is actually still going on. We did see themes of people changing a lot, and personalities of themselves in order to get ahead. Marrying up, even some people even pretended that they didn't have certain family because the family looked a certain way, and it's like, no, it's not my family. I know that person, but it's not related to me. And it was like, sort of like, you're hiding certain things at the background because you want to present a certain status about yourself. I think we all did it to a degree, guys. We all did it to a degree. So yeah, and with the sun being in Pisces, it conjunct Venus. It's sextile Saturn, it's sextile Neptune, it trine Pluto. Pluto was in Scorpio, but anyway, I'll go through it. So that's like the over thing that showed me. because, you know, we're going through the stelliums in the 7th house and the 10th house. Again, these are cardinal houses. These houses are very much about status. It is about looks. It is about changing parts of yourself. It's non-moving. You know, the moon again was in Capricorn, is in the 8th house. So I felt that, like what I just said, there was a lot of marrying up, marrying people for money, marrying people for status. You know, shared resources. Like, you know, we're actually seeing, you know, people getting huge amounts, huge sums of money through divorce, or, you know, if you were suing someone. And also I do feel shamelessly, you know, the moon being in the 8th house in Capricorn in 1989 with this conjunction, that, you know, certain things went to like people that were from different certain backgrounds, because background played a huge part in this, you know. So with the 8th house, is also about inheritance. It's also about tax, death, rebirth. So a lot of us were, you know, some people greatly benefited from this. Some people didn't. You know, this also shows me with the moon being the 8th that there was no budging going on. Like if you were owed certain money, you weren't getting it because of, it could be many things, but some of it could be because of that you didn't have this certain background. Mercury is in Aquarius in the 9th house. So we did see, it did square Pluto, you know, and it squared Mars. Um, but we did see a huge shift when it came to like higher education, because Aquarius is Uranus, but it also is Saturn as well. So we did see like a huge change with, I've actually got this natally, Mercury in the 9th. You know, education did play a huge part in this, but you had to go to, like, what certain school did you go to? What, you know, there was a big, we actually saw like there was a big push for going to private school, you know, getting like a higher education. We did see like a change in like law and publishing, like certain books were out there. And it, you know, this doesn't seem to me that it was for like writers from different ethnic backgrounds. It was just like, again, a certain type of background. um Again, Venus in Pisces as well. We had Mars, which is in Taurus, which is in the 12th house. So like energy wise, and when it came to like action, was very slow. Yeah, it was very, very slow. Push for change was slow, guys. One thing I'll say about this conjunction from 89 till now, push for change was slow, especially with Jupiter, especially things being in the 12th house with it being in Taurus. Um, yes, like I said already about Saturn being in the 7th house as well. Neptune, it did conjunct Neptune, which was in Capricorn. So even when it, again, like I said, when it came to like marriages and that, some people stayed in a marriage because even though there was actually things that were going on, it could be for many things, cheating and all of that, um, crazy things going on. There was like not looking at it, just like don't look at it. You know, the fact that you're in this marriage, the fact you're getting this benefit, the fact that you're getting money, the fact you're getting an allowance, the fact that you're getting this and that, just stay in it. Even if you're not happy, just stay. You know, again, even with like contracts and that, it was, yeah. Um, Neptune being in the 7th house again, you know, like I just said, again, Pluto was actually, you know, Pluto was in Scorpio, and it was in the 6th house. And with Pluto being in the 6th house, guys, and it's funny because Pluto's now in the 6th house and it's in a fixed sign in Aquarius. This for me shows that, you know, you had to put a lot of work in, and it's not necessarily that you will get your due. It's not necessarily that you will get what you what you are owed. You know, even thinking through this with Pluto and Scorpio being in the 6th house to this to this conjunction, was that, you know, health and wellness it was a big thing. Like, you know, we're seeing it now that people went hard when it comes to working. People, even when it comes to like fitness as well, people go hard when it comes to working out. But what we're actually forgetting is that you had to think of the mental health benefits, because you do feel better when you work out. But if because of this conjunction, it felt like you're working out to look good. You weren't necessarily you're working out to get fit and tight, but you weren't working out for the mental health benefits. It's only now we're realizing I actually feel good when I work out. Even though it did sextile the moon and it's sextile Saturn and Neptune, you know, it did show like dedication. It did show like being consistent, like, you know, doing it. And even when it comes to work, you know, being consistent, turning up at the right time, not being late. But it wasn't revolutionary when it came to all of these things as well. It was just like, just keep doing it. Do what works. Okay. And also a very extreme way. That's why now, from 89 to now, that's why we're seeing a lot of like mental health issues, guys. That's why we're seeing a lot of people talking about how, you know, they don't be working 9 to 5 no more. They want to work 9 to 2, you know, 9 to 1 type of thing. But it's because of this conjunction as well, guys. This is why it's happening. Another thing I want to say about this is that a lot of people did get successful during this conjunction. One that's coming to me is Kate Moss. Remember, she was discovered in 88, 89, and she's actually Capricorn. And I think that whatever transpired then, especially if you're a Capricorn, or if you like Saturn, or if you like, let's just be honest, if you know, if you were a certain race, creed, or culture, if you benefited when this happened for the next 36 years, you still benefited, you know. So I think it was a great time in order to rise up, rise up yourself, you know, make something of yourself, because 36 years later, you will still be going strong, you know. Obviously, not so good for people that couldn't or were shut out. But I think that if you got the opportunity, whether to get discovered or whether to make something of yourself, if you got, you know, if someone was prepared to help you, you know, 36 years later, yeah, you'll be still smiling. You'll be very rich. Um, yeah, but overall, this chart for this conjunction till now, it was not easy. It wasn't easy. Because a lot happened from 89, especially like in the 90s. A lot of things happened. Another thing I'm gonna say, guys, is that when I don't think a lot of us talk about it enough. I think that when a chart is being set, whatever happens, the planets, the North Node, outer planets, generational planets, it carries on for the next 36 years, because we're actually seeing it being played out. So, you know, I like to know what you guys think of this conjunction, what I spoke about in 1989. You know, if you've benefited, if you haven't, if there was life-changing things that happened as well, because it's still happening. It's going to be ending next year, but we're going to see the full shebang in 2026. Yeah. So yeah, so like I said, this conjunction, it wasn't the greatest. It was a lot of like, it was quite harsh. Um yes, karmatic, but you know, another thing I'll say as well is that this chart, it benefited the Pluto in Virgo generation. So you're born like 1958, 59 slash 1971, 72, 70 to 71. You greatly benefited from this. Even though some of you were getting squared during the Pluto, when Pluto went Sagittarius, and you're getting squared because of this conjunction, you benefited. Do you know what I mean? My generation, we did not benefit. We did not benefit at all. Um, I'll say also the Pluto in Scorpio generation, the 83/84 to 1995, greatly benefiting. This, like I said, this generation are still doing the business now. And a lot of this generation have Neptune in Capricorn, so it's no wonder why they've risen up and they still continue to rise. Obviously, we know that things will change, but you know, going back to this chart, guys, is there's a reason why those two generations have risen up, because this is also generational, especially the Neptune. I will be doing like a Neptune chart. I will be doing like a Neptune for all the generations, so listen out for that, guys. So yeah, so that was like the 89 chart. When we go to the 2026 chart, because even though it will happen in 2000, I mean, even though it will happen in 2025, we're going to see it. It's going to be more, it's going to be shebang in February 2026. So we're going back to go to this chart, guys, because this is for the next 36 years. This is going to be very different. The last one, we had like all these harshness, yeah, in Capricorn and Libra, and we had a little bit of defense in Pisces, but you know, it was cardinal. This one is very different because we have again the Sun in Pisces, we have Venus in Pisces, guys. Yeah, we also have Mercury in Pisces, we have the North Node in Pisces. So there's a stellium in Pisces in the 8th house. Okay, we also have energies that is the Sun is in the 7th. Yeah, sorry. The moon to this is in Aries in the 8th. We have Mercury in Pisces in the 8th. We also have Saturn in Aries, which is in the 8th. So this is showing me it's very like deep, dark, quite scorpionic, but it's got a lot of elements in Pisces as well. The fact that it's in the 8th house is going to be very there's going to be lots of like purging things. I feel that will be brought out, but there's gonna be a lot of purging going on, a lot of deep darkness. It's gonna be very this is also showing me it's gonna be very well, I don't think I'm picking up traumatic in some way. Could be very much traumatic, but also show me that it's going to be a lot of because the 8th house is ruled by um shared resources. um what else? Yeah, shared resources, money owed through, partnerships, debts, inheritances, taxes as well. So we can actually see like a rebirth of this. We got like the moon, we have Mercury, we have Saturn, we have Neptune, all in the 8th house to this. We have the Sun in the 7th, we have Venus in Pisces in the 7th. We also have North Node in the 7th. Okay, so it's like a 7th and 8th house thing going on. So again, there are going to be themes of contracts, business contracts, partnerships, marriages as well. Also, creativity as well. It doesn't feel, like I said, this conjunction is not easy and not an easy conjunction. But this chart is a bit more lighter than the other one, because I think that whatever is underneath actually is going to be brought to the surface. So that's what this is showing me. Things will definitely be brought to the surface. When we go to the ascendant, that this is Leo. So like I said, things are going to be more out in the open. We have the 10th house, which is in Taurus. So it's very, in a way, stuck. Like for me, it shows it's going to stay, because this is going to be coming out in the next 2 decades, guys. We have the Sun in the 7th house, like I said before. So, we're going to be seeing themes of like marriages and business contracts. It does, I'll talk about other things about who it affects as well, guys. It does conjunct the North Node in Pisces, which didn't happen before. So when it conjuncts the North Node in Pisces, and also Venus conjuncts the North Node in this, it's, you know, we're going to be seeing, you know, it's things are going to be a bit more better. The fact that the sun has just entered Pisces when this happens, guys, is like a sort of like a brand new beginning, especially with the moon being there. So it feels things are going to be a bit more, I feel that in terms of like trying to get somewhere, be more capable of getting somewhere, it's going to be a bit more easier, especially because of the Venus being here as well. I feel that a lot of us are going to be forming more bonds. It's not going to be so harsh to form bonds with people. It's not going to be about, oh, what job you got, or what clothes you wearing, what your house is, or where what college you go to. And because that's, Pisces is not about that life. This is a general about Pisces. It's not about that life, guys. It's very much about, well, what creativity are you doing? You know, what spirituality, what practices are you doing? The fact that it does this also, did a conjunction to Venus as well. Yes, there can be some delusion with when it comes to like romance, but with the North Node being there, it's like, you know, you're gonna find your like destiny. You're gonna find your creativity. You're gonna find like that spiritual partner. Because the Venus actually does extremely well in Pisces, guys. Again, Mercury being in the eighth as well, like what I just said, guys. You know, I think things will be shared out a bit more. It's not going to be hidden like it was 36 years. It's not going to be, oh, did this. It's going to be a bit more better. What else do we have? We have again, like I said about Venus. We have Mars, which is in Aquarius in the sixth house to this. It does square Uranus, so there's going to be lots of changes within the job sphere. There's going to be lots of changes when it comes to, you know, employment. And of course, this can be annoying to us too. Yeah, it can be very annoying. But I feel that if you've been coasting, it's going to be like, no, 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 you're not putting the work in, so you have to go. But it's not going to be like you have to, it's not going to be a case you have to like push yourself to work to death. It's going to be like, anyway, it's just going to be different when it comes to like work, even when it comes to like health and fitness as well, guys. It's going to be more revolutionary. You're not going to be doing what you did before. You're going to do things that has to work for you. It's going to do things that is going to be sort of futuristic. It's going to be healing your body. It's about changing course with this. Jupiter being in Cancer in the 11th house, you know, friendships are going to be playing an important role during this time. It does trine Mercury, it trines Venus as well, and the nodes. So what this shows me is that, you know, I think a lot of us are going to be making strides with not just a group of certain people, people from different creeds and different cultures. We're not going to be just talking about like the money we're earning and, you know, money. It feels like it's going to be a bit more shared, but I feel that people will be different. We all will be coming together to do like a nice cause for mankind. Again, we have Saturn in Aries, it's in the 8th house. So it can feel, you know, again, my fifth time saying this, guys, this energy is not easy. There can be like a restriction that comes here. I feel that some of us won't be as extravagant as we were last time. I think even people that are well off may not feel that they have to be like extravagant with this, especially with like Neptune being here too, guys. Um, with the 8th house, I feel that there could be like money. Again, hidden things, hidden themes will come into the open. I feel that also, if I could be like going off on a whim here, but I do feel that money that was owed to you 36 years ago, it could actually come. Neptune being here, it can be like a dissolvement of, basically, there can be like a dissolvement of things to do with like taxes and all that. But I feel that if things are supposed to be for you, you will get. You know, obviously I can go deeper into this, but yeah, but also this is to do with like shared resources as well. So this is showing me that you have to be very careful of how much your money you're spending. But because we're not about that life, that sort of like celebrity life, I think a lot of us will be like probably like investing in causes that are beneficial. Could be investing in hospitals, could be investing in like spiritual works as well. Um, but also I think that if you come together with it with your partner, you know, creating something worthwhile is going to be a thing, you know. um we got Pluto in Aquarius. Remember I said before, guys, that Pluto was in Scorpio, another fixed sign in the sixth house. This Pluto's in the sixth house, guys, and like what I said before, um doing like when it comes to like work and our wellness is going to be very different. 36 years ago it was about doing the same, but this one's gonna be like, no, 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 we can't do that, we got to do it something differently. Yeah. So I feel all in all, like I said, because this conjunction is not easy, the two planets come together is not easy, it does feel a bit more better than before. I feel that there's not going to be a lot of extravagance, but I feel that if we are going to be, because there's more of a cautiousness to this. Again, like I do feel that what is meant to be yours will be yours, even if it's from like 36 years ago. But I also feel that there's going to be a bit of more of an emotional aspect to this. There's not going to be this sort of cold harshness that we had once before. Obviously, because Neptune's here, you know, you could envision things, and it doesn't come to par. But I think that if it doesn't happen, it wasn't supposed to happen as well. But I do feel we have to also see what happens. This is what I see and what I feel, you know. But at the same time, I'm still very open minded to the fact that things could definitely change. But just know, guys, that you know, if you've had it harsh, but before I say that, this definitely, I think I did say before that it will affect, it will, people that are, if you are like late degree, if you are like early cardinal, yeah, because remember this is 0 degree. um and 0 degree is like a brand new beginning of things, yeah, because the last time it wasn't 0, it was like 12 degrees. But and that was like very much a Venus Capricorn. This one is like the beginning, early beginning. So I feel that things will come thick and fast. I also feel that with this, that you know, things, you know, when it comes thick and fast, it also is a fact that the thick and fastness of this is, it's not for everyone. It might be too quick for some and not quick enough for some. If you are 0 degree of cardinal, which is Capricorn, Aries, Libra, and Cancer, you're gonna you're gonna feel it. But all cardinals, whatever degree you are, is gonna be, you're gonna feel it. But especially the early degree. If you're late degree mutable, which is Pisces, I'm saying like 26, 29 degrees. If you're very late degree of Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Virgo, you're gonna feel this as well because of the, it's basically cusp. Yeah, I know a lot of you don't believe in that, but it's a cusp. So it's gonna be a wild one, you know. I mean, I'm even what I'm saying, I can see it happening, but also I'm sort of anticipating as well, because it's Aries. Aries is a wild one. It's not an easy sign, and it's like it everything is head first. It head butts first, and so although this is like a, you know, like I said, the fact that this is like Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac, is new beginnings. It's doing something for the self, in some cases by the self, charging forth. It can be very reckless, and that's what this this conjunction is showing as well. There can be recklessness as well. So we have to also be very mindful. You know, I say on a collective scale, we have to all be very mindful of, you know, because Saturn Neptune is, especially because it's in Aries, we are beginning a new chapter for ourselves. We are structuring, restructuring. We are, you know, in some cases going our own way, making, you know, hay while the sun rises because of this. You know, when it was in Capricorn, it was more or less like building a structure and dissolving of a old structure, but it still was not about something that is sustainable for everyone. But this conjunction is showing me that, you know, if you want to do something, whether it's for yourself or with people, it's now's the time to do it. Now's that time to, you know, go forth, be brave, be bold. Don't be afraid. Don't be, you know, obviously there is a recklessness that we will be having, like not thinking before we speak or not thinking before we charge ahead. And of course, that can cause accidents, that can cause us to lose certain things, people, places in our lives. Because, you know, Neptune, you know, we are dissolving, and when you, Neptune is about loss as well. We could also overestimate. We can also think that, oh, it will be fine, and imagine it will be fine, and it's actually not. So there is pros and cons to this. So yeah, I will say also, on a general scale, that, you know, like I said, you know, charge forth now. Now's that time. Just be mindful, just be careful as well. We all have to be very careful. Um, you know, if you go back to what I spoke about when it comes to like the chart, you know, money and resources and other resources is going to be a big thing. It'll be a big theme, guys. We're going to see a lot of that happening. There's going to be a brand new beginning and structural. It can also be a dissolvement of it as well. And that's what this conjunction is about. Being that boss, but also knowing that there's certain things that are going to be coming out of our lives, whether we want it to or not. I've actually pulled out a card for this, guys, and you're not going to believe the card that flew out. It's the Emperor, which is actually the Aries card. And the Emperor is about structure, it's about authority, it's very practical, it's like a father figure. It's a very strong card, it's a very wealthy card, it's a very card that is very good about business, and it's also stable. This is a number 4 card, and the 4 number, I'm actually in the number 4 year, and it's not the easiest, guys, I'm not gonna lie, but it's also about, you know, there's a stability element to it. So this Emperor card is showing me all what I just said. There's going to be that sort of restructuring, stability, authority that's going to be happening with this conjunction. Yeah, it's not going to be, even though there are Pisces as well, I think that there is going to be some emotions are going to be forth, which it should be, but also there's going to be, in a sense, that especially if we are dealing with something that affects our lives, this card is showing me that, you know, now's not going to be that time to be putting too much emotion of it. We have to speak and be about our truth. Okay. And it's not going to be that time of, oh, like last like the last conjunction of washing over things, gliding over things. I feel that things will be confronted head on. Some of us will want to live in that sort of daydream, but this card and the conjunction is showing that that daydream is now over. We have to live in reality. This is about real life. This conjunction is showing that, and this card is showing that there's going to be major shifts across the global scene, across on a general scheme. There's going to be new beginnings happening. Even like on a personal, like I feel that some of us will be, because Aries is a sign that's about like the self, but it's also about the body. I feel some of it, and also because Neptune's here as well. I think that if you are willing and open to like do some type of like spiritual work, I think this is the time to be doing this. Last conjunction, the spirituality was more based on money making scheme, whereas this one will be about, you know what, I want to heal. I thought I was about that life, but I'm actually really want to heal. So I feel that people will start taking the spiritual work personally, and there'll be a dissolvement of like fake gurus, leaders, all of that. I think some of us may be our own guru and our own leader. It's not going to be about making money out of it. It's not going to be about, oh, buy this book because I can do this. But no, I can do this for myself. So I feel that some of us won't be seeking out these types of gurus. We're going to be our own. We're going to be doing our own research, and you know, yeah, I think it will just be very, very interesting, guys. And yeah, I feel that again, Aries is about the body. So I think that a lot of us will be restructuring our physical self. We're not going to be working out how we used to. We're going to be. I think a lot of things are. We are. I think a lot of us will be on the move, but it's not going to be to please anyone or to show anyone. It's going to be about pleasing ourselves. It's not going to be, oh, I'm going to be doing this because I want people to see that I have this nice car, this nice house, this nice this nice that. It's going to be like, yeah, I live on a council estate. What? I'm still successful. You know, I think a lot of us, it's a time that we should be bold and we should not care about what others think. It's about what we think and what we feel. Even if we're doing something that is not going to be to the masses appealing, it's what we enjoy doing. So that's why it's a time to be bold and to not care. So yes, interesting times. Like I said, guys, I will be doing a video on the Neptune generations because it will impact the Neptune in Saggy and Aquarius. Those two specifically will greatly benefit. And yeah, that's like my 2 cents worth on this Saturn Neptune conjunction. Also, guys, I'm in two minds about doing the Saturn and Neptune conjunction separately. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do another video for the signs, but I'm not going to do it separately like Saturn and Aries. I'm just going to do this together because they're going to be in the same signs anyway. And I just thought there's no point in just doing it separately. Unless you want me to do it separately. But, guys, you can just come back to this video. If you come back to the next video, if you want to know about what Saturn means for you, and what Neptune in Aries means for you, because they're conjuncting together. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. And yeah, that's like my 2 cents worth on this conjunction, this great 36-year conjunction, guys. Thank you very much for listening. It's a long one. It needed to be long, but thank you very much, guys, for listening. Feel free to let me know what you think. Also feel free to let me know how the past 36 years has been for you. Yeah, that's what I want to say. But again, thank you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you want to share it to your friends, neighbors, cousins, feel free to do that too. So once again, thank you very much for listening, guys, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.